Max Zaharenkov, welcome to Paper Napkin Wisdom. I'm really excited to have you here with me today.
Oh wow, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and yeah, I'm just ready. I'm excited to share some of the insights I have gained through my travels and experiences as a
Yeah.
travel.
Well, you shared a really interesting paper napkin with me, and it's really got me interested in where this is going to go. You said travel isn't just about seeing new places, it's about embracing new perspectives. Why did you share that with
That's really interesting. Well, actually, let me tell you a little bit of backstory. It's when I was traveled to, I mean, one of the probably this experience has happened to me when I was during my time in Bhutan, and I was trekking through the mountains, and it was all these amazing views just to make you to feel alive.
me?
And it was quite windy day, and it was a lot of different things was happening, and at some point I just lost. I just
You got
lost.
lost.
Yeah, I just got lost. I didn't know where to go. And it's kind of like, it was like I've seen like a really small village in front of me. I've seen some lights, but obviously Bhutan, really small country, only local people is around, language barrier. So you can imagine, right? It's a little bit different comparing to your like usual like travel activities and so on. And I just like seen like a local family just they spotted me without like any stations, like they invited me to their home. Can you imagine the overall the hospitality of the people? It's insane. It's insane. And what I just
And
realized.
let's be clear, okay? So you're in Bhutan in a
Yeah,
rural environment, trekking through
yeah,
the mountains, setting the
exactly.
scene for everybody listening to this, and you're lost. You can't speak with them, but
Yeah,
this family spots you,
yeah.
obviously lost, and says, "Come home with us." Right?
I mean, we tried to chat a little bit. So I
Yeah.
explained that I don't know where to go. I mean, my phone, I had zero battery, so all my power banks is gone. Nothing was working. So I literally lost in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Bhutan, while I was trekking. So at some point, I just realized it's not enough time to come back to my base, and I just didn't know where to go. So I kind of realized the direction of where I need to move, and at some point I'm gonna reach my point. But it was getting darker, and you can imagine in the mountains, it's not the lighting system. It's not perfect, right?
No, and it's not like it's even ground, also.
Exactly, exactly. And I just explained to the local people about my story, what just happened today, and obviously they didn't understand me. So, and I think the daughter of in the family, she understood English a bit. So she understood that I was like trekking. I did like some like activities. Obviously I'm a tourist, and I kind of explained to them like where I need to go. And it wasn't too late. It was actually around maybe 7 8 p.m. It was literally dinner time. And the most interesting story, in Bhutan, people are drinking tea with salt, so it's called like a salty tea. And this drink is actually like obviously make me feel like so excited. And I've seen these people are drinking this tea, and it was like kind of getting a bit colder. And I just asked local people, is it possible to have like a little tea? And they immediately offered me a tea, and they even invited me for into their home.
Amazing.
So, and yeah, I think this is like kind of like a very unique and different point here in this story, because I was like so impressed by their kindness, and it was so genuine. Like, it's something like I will never forget. So it's like this story is like something unique for me.
It's incredible. So I find it really interesting. And for people listening, Max has an Instagram account, and I set this in the intro. You've got almost 4 million followers now following you on your adventures around the world. But here you are, no connection to anything, no internet, no phone, no emergency, anything, right? But you set a direction, right? You know there's a direction, and you know that if you just keep making progress, it's an interesting story about life, right? Like you set a direction, and if you
Yeah.
just keep on making progress, you might get there. And that's kind of what you did here, right? In Bhutan. Is that instinct of setting a direction? Is that how you got started on your Instagram? I mean, because you didn't set out to have 4 million followers on Instagram, right? Like, I think you just started, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, at some point it was kind of like just like, just a hobby or something, but now I'm just doing it like for a living. But if we're just talking about particularly that day in Bhutan, about particularly this experience, I was actually late to arrive to my final destination before sunset because I was actually creating the content. And I was like so focused on this. I was like spent way too much time on creating too much content. And I've got like a lot of different cameras on my backpack, which was always full of different cameras, batteries, gadgets, tripods, you name it. And yeah, I just like trying to get back on time, but obviously I wasn't. And actually that's when the story started getting interesting.
Yeah, it's funny how it happened on the edge of what you planned. So, what were so again, your napkin about seeing new places. You went to Bhutan to see a new place, to experience it, to document it, right? For your
Yeah,
channel, right? To
correct.
document it.
Exactly.
Something else happened, this different perspective. What did you learn when you met this family?
Um, let me tell you a little bit backstory in terms of their house. So when I just stepped in and they just kind of was in the middle of the dinner, like just literally started the dinner. And the house was so simple. It was like simple wooden walls. It was like a roof or something. And at that moment, I felt like incredibly warm and welcoming. So it was like so simple, but at the same time, it's so special for me. Even like we didn't speak the same language. We commuted through the smiles, I don't know, some gestures and laugh. And that moment was super special for me. I felt so different comparing to all these luxury hotels, all these experiences. It was like so simple and so welcoming. It just, it's giving me so warm. Even when we're talking about this right now, it's giving me like so much warm feeling, good emotions and good memories. And they prepared a meal using like some vegetables from their garden, and maybe that's what they told me, a rice like kind of from the fields. They just showed me like from where it's from. And we sat on the floor like around a very low table, like you can imagine, right? And sharing all this food and stories, we tried to share the stories. Even if we didn't understand all the words, and the children were especially curious about all my gadgets, all the tripods. And we played like a little games, like drawing some pictures kind of in the dirt and making funny faces. That's what actually made me the most kind of how how present everyone was. No
How
gadgets,
present everyone was, right? Like,
how present everyone was. No
yeah.
gadgets, no distractions, no Netflix on TV, no YouTube, no like social media on the phones. And there were no distractions at all, like no buzzing and nothing, right? Just us in the moment. And we were fully engaged like with each other's. Time like seemed like to slow down, like it was literally paused. In a huge city, New York, Tokyo, I don't know, Hong Kong, I don't know, it's literally impossible. We're always on the phones, we're always distracted by like different headlines, like some breaking news, some like friend news, WhatsApp chats. You tell me. And That what actually made me feel so special and surprised. People was actually talking to each other. We actually stayed in a present time. We was engaged with each other. That was actually makes me feel so special and so unique comparing to all my previous travels, you know.
Yeah.
And after dinner, we sat outside under a sky, under the sky with the stars. And to be honest, I don't think I have ever seen so many stars in my life, because Bhutan is literally the whole country is just like a one huge forest. And the father of the family, he pointed out to different ways, like sharing some stories that has been passed like down through the generations, saying, like what actually they experienced. And he tried to explain it to me, because the kids were like a translation, so they was in the middle of what the dad is saying. And even without understanding the language, I feel so connected. I don't know, I feel so connected to them, to the world, to something bigger than myself. And this was like so unique to all the countries I have visited. I mean, I was actually looking at this world through my eyes, not through my lens. I was in the present moment. I wasn't like connected to my social media. I wasn't connected to my friends through like some messengers, through some emails or something. And I don't know, I felt like so special to feeling this, because nowadays what we feel, we're always like not living in a present moment. That's what I see. And traveling to different countries, like very developed countries, very I would say interesting countries, I can see that all the people, they're always in a smartphone, they're always rushing somewhere, they're not living in a presence, which I think is the most important. I think it's probably one of the most important things, just to enjoy what we have for now, to live in a moment, to share meals with the people who's around us, and maybe not watching YouTube during our like lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
It's something, yeah, I think it's very important.
And I find it really interesting that you're talking about this because, like, Max, you take beautiful pictures, right? Like you see the world through your lens and you share that. That's the story you share. But this connection was way more powerful than that. And this connection didn't require a tripod and a stand and anything artificial. It was something special, something unique, something in a moment that even didn't require language connection, but just human connection.
I felt an overwhelming like sense of peace. Like, and this family with so little in terms of material like possessions, with so rich in happiness, like
Mm.
connection and presence. And they taught me like kind of the invaluable lesson, like of truly being in the moment. I think it's probably the most important thing. What we do have is just to stay in presence. I think the most important thing, just to enjoy the life how we do have, to be grateful, and not always rushing somewhere, not always try to achieve something in the future, and already play this time in our head what gonna be next. Just to stay and slow down for now.
And really feel, right? Like I think what's really interesting about what you just said, and I was talking about this with somebody else recently, is it's one thing to say I'm grateful. It's another thing to feel grateful. It's another one thing to say I'm connected, like hello on the phone. It's another thing to really connect and be interested in what somebody is saying. And it sounds like that's the kind of moment you had, right? That they were interested in you, you were interested in them, and that's all there was. And you could feel that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's kind of what I just learned. I mean, let me finish you just the story, like how we like ended up. And after all this, like stars, like watching, stargazing, and just chatting, in this evening we can exchange like some hugs. like in the very end, we just did some like gestures of like gratitude, and I walked away. But I walked away not just with the memories. I just walked away with a new perspective on life. I know it's like huge words, but the way of living, they showed me that happiness isn't found in the things, but in moments. I just realized, and this day it was very unique and different in my life. In being present, in connecting with others, in appreciating the here and now. So that's what actually is the biggest insight of my recent travels, and I would say probably from all travels but all the countries I have visited. I mean, I'm currently in Egypt, and Egypt is country number 109, and that is my insight from all these countries I have visited. And since that day in Bhutan, I have tried to carry that lesson with me. It's easy to get caught up in the rush and always planning for the next thing, what's what's already happened. But that family in Bhutan showed me the beauty of just being, of immersing myself like fully in each experience.
I love it. I love it. So how have you applied that new perspective, that embracing that new perspective? How have you applied it in Egypt, for example?
I mean, I'm trying to enjoy every single moment. I'm trying to stay in the present. I'm trying to disconnect. So I'm not trying to overrate some things, because I'm currently here and I need to be grateful. I need to be happy at this moment, not to put any like list of achievements, what's gonna happen like in XYZ days, if I gonna achieve this, if I gonna go there. I'm currently in Egypt. I need to be thankful for this. I need to be grateful for what is happening for me, with me. So that is probably one of the biggest reasons I kind of re-evaluated everything what I'm doing, and restructured my life recently in terms of approach. Because to be honest, what is the reason of traveling to all these countries if you cannot enjoy them? If you're always thinking about your logistics, what is next, to hunting for the best content, to hunting for the best locations, to create the best content, if you're not actually living in a present, if you're not enjoying all this beauty in this location, and it's all in your head. So my idea is just to stay present and just enjoy this place, where no matter where you are, and just to be kind of be happy.
That's amazing because I think that a lot of, like, I mean, certainly the feeling that we have of travel influencers is that they're really just all concerned about the shot. They're not looking at the world, they're looking at their lens. So it sounds like you're intentionally doing it the other way around. Now, after doing that, have you noticed a change in how you engage with your community? I mean, you've got a big community online. Has your engagement with your community changed as you've become more present and aware of those connections and of those moments and the memories? Have your stories changed?
I mean, to be honest, I changed in a way. I'm showing what I'm doing, and I'm sharing more kind of. I'm giving like more valuable things what people need to be focused, and especially what we show on social media. Obviously, it could be very different from what is happening in reality, and I'm trying to be as real and as authentic as possible, especially when we're talking about the travel, because travel is all about the amazing places, great experiences, delicious food. And I'm just trying to tell my communities that no matter where you are, you just need to be, and you need to stay present in terms of living in the moment. And you don't need to wait for amazing location in your life. You just need to enjoy where you are no matter what. If you go somewhere in the next few days, few weeks, that is great. But you don't need to wait for that moment to enjoy life, to be happy, or to put like any other tasks. You just need to be grateful. I think this is the most important thing. And even the family, what I just mentioned about, their ability to be fully present without modern distractions, like taught you the importance of living in the moment. You
Yeah.
know, time felt like it's like slowed down, but it highlighted the depth of genuine human connection.
Yeah, that's really so it's really great. So let's you obviously had the stories overnight. Um, what happened in the morning?
Or you mean after actually I woke up, right?
Yes, yeah.
I kind of like I woke up was like a different person, it wasn't like me. I mean, it was like just me. It was like kind of like a different perspective overall in my life. So it wasn't like just, it was, I don't know how to explain this, but as I mentioned before, I just restructured my life into, and I kind of changed the way I'm living. I had like a one way of living in terms of the values, in terms of the timing. I just started appreciate all the moments what is happening to me in a different way, in a different level, I would say. And I started like thinking about and rushing to somewhere where I need to go. So I know it might sound a little cliche, but I stopped collecting the countries in my list. I started collecting the moments. I start collecting the authenticity of my experiences, and I stopped focusing on the number of experiences I have done in a different countries. I started more appreciate very authentic experiences. And that dinner with the local people, I can definitely, with no doubts, can say you this dinner with local people changed my life. And this time, after especially this unexpected experience, I more often started visiting local families, local villages in the places where I'm coming to share some local food with the locals. Because I think this is the most important fact, not to go to another unique experience in this country, but I think the unique experience is in simplicity and authenticity, at least for me.
Yeah. So, and that's the perspective that you woke up with the next day, which is, and it's amazing how life changes on a snap of a finger, right? And I think it really goes back to embracing the new perspective is leaning into it, becoming it right away.
I would say, despite not speaking the same language, I would say kindness and hospitality bridge the gap. And shared the experience overall just transcends the culture and linguistic barriers. It was insane. When I was thinking about it, it's different level.
So let me let's just talk about that real quick. You know, the scary times in the world everywhere, and you've traveled to 109 countries, as you mentioned. Is there anywhere where kindness and hospitality didn't bridge the gap?
I would say in most places, yes, but how I felt, especially in this little remote village in mountains in Bhutan, um, for me, no. Obviously, every five-star hotel in the world, their goal is try to make you feel you're at home. They provide you with amazing food, with amazing mattress, with amazing massage, with a great view, with a great cocktails, but they cannot provide you with this local hospitality and with some warm what you are actually feeling under your skin with your soul, like soul connection.
Yeah.
And I think that's really authentic. That's really, no matter. where I'm gonna go, it's gonna be really hard to beat the story. I mean, for me, it was something unique.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that kindness and hospitality bridge the gap, a language gap, a connection gap, a everything gap, and the fact that you could have this warm, welcoming experience, this family in a simple environment, is a great reminder that that's where connection is made, right?
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes you can talk with the same language. You can be in amazing location with all the facilities, with all the amenities in a great location, great view, great food, and you're gonna be feeling different. You're gonna be feeling, I don't know, lonely. You're gonna be feeling some uncomfortable, and maybe not especially physically uncomfortable, maybe mentally uncomfortable. And to be honest, and at that evening when I was in this family house, I was feeling so comfortable. I was feeling I'm in the right place in the right time with the right people. And I just lost time overall. I didn't check my phone. I wasn't able to. I didn't even ask them what time is it. I just go with the flow. I enjoyed the experience. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the food, our chat, our jokes. It was so unique. I never experienced anywhere anything like this in my life from all my whole travel career, like, for last 10, 12 years.
That's amazing. And I like how you said that you felt special, right? When you told me the
Yeah.
story, you said that you felt special.
Something like you get get this attitude if you pay someone when you're staying in a hotel. It was so genuine, it was so unique, and it was so special for at least for me when I was felt it was unique.
That's amazing. Max, I know our time is up. I'm very grateful that you shared this story of getting lost in Bhutan, and the image is really strong in my mind. Thank you for joining me on Paper Napkin.
No worries. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.